SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 is widely considered as one of the greatest wrestling games of all time, and for multiple reasons. One of the largest, though, is the GM mode, a game mode that has reached its peak around 2006. GM mode not only holds replay value 17 years later, even today's game developers have decided to attempt to recreate this special mode's magic with no luck. AI has made its presence felt in nearly every aspect of life nowadays. While the total impact of that is yet to be determined, today I'm using it to my advantage. I'm going to take control of the Raw brand and compete head-to-head with one of the most intuitive AI engines available to casual folk, ChatGPT, and find out, can ChatGPT beat me in GM mode? Now, this isn't your standard solo playthrough. I'm going to be addressing every single decision to be made during this mode, present it to the AI, and allow ChatGPT to make its own decision regarding its own brand, and the results may actually shock you. Contender Booker T would attack John Cena in the parking lot and then later on defeat him in a steel cage match on Raw, cementing his #1 contendership for Backlash. Mickie James would surprise the women's champion Lita a week before Backlash and win the women's title. To open up Backlash, we've got William Regal taking on Mr. Kennedy for the heart of Candice Michelle. Mr. Kennedy would go on to win this match. D-Generation X, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels taking on the tag team champions Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch. The titles would change hands after a decisive victory by DX. The Animal Batista found himself in a handicap match going up against Galito and Chris Masters. The numbers game ended up being too much for the Animal, and the conniving duo was able to get away with a victory. Intercontinental Championship action, Rob Van Dam taking on champion Shelton Benjamin in a tables, ladders, and chairs match, which Rob Van Dam would become the new champion after an intense match. In the main event, Booker T, John Cena, WWE Championship. Booker T would surprisingly unseat John Cena as the WWE Champion. As the night ends, Raw heads into a different direction. Matt Hardy would unsuccessfully defend his United States Championship on an episode of SmackDown, losing to JBL. Kurt Angle and Randy Orton would begin a rivalry. Randy Orton would suffer a loss in a submission match, but challenge Kurt Angle one-on-one at Judgment Day. Cruiserweight Championship opening up at Judgment Day. ChatGPT's first pay-per-view, Chavo Guerrero taking on Rey Mysterio for the Cruiserweight title, and Rey Mysterio successfully defends his championship. Matt Hardy issued his rematch at Judgment Day but fell short as JBL successfully defended his United States Championship. This time, in a tables match. Randy Orton would finally get his chance to prove himself and his shot at Kurt Angle. One-on-one, no disqualifications. However, Kurt Angle once again came out of this match victorious. In the main event, Chris Benoit would go on to challenge Edge for the World Heavyweight Championship. Edge was able to hang on, hit the execution, and defend that World Heavyweight Championship successfully. Shelton Benjamin would use his rematch for the Intercontinental Championship and win the title back against Rob Van Dam. Carlito and Chris Masters would challenge D-Generation X for a shot at the World Tag Team titles, but DX would stand tall. And a triple threat was announced for the WWE Championship between John Cena, Batista, and Booker T. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button as we make that push up to 1,000. And let me know in the comments how you feel about this kind of content. If we can get this video up to 200 likes, we'll do something similar to this in the future. The first match of Vengeance would see Mickie James defend her women's championship against former champion Lita. After a huge moonsault, Lita would regain her women's championship. A big fatal four-way match for the Intercontinental Championship was announced. Mr. Kennedy, Rob Van Dam, Ric Flair, and Shelton Benjamin would all compete for the Intercontinental title, but Rob Van Dam would emerge victorious and once again become Intercontinental Champion. DX once again defended their World Tag Team Championships against Carlito and Chris Masters. This time, the outcome was no different than the first. DX still champs. Main event time here at Vengeance. WWE Championship Triple Threat. Batista, John Cena, and Booker T. Booker T somehow scrapes by the skin of his teeth and retains the WWE Championship, capitalizing after Batista hits a Batista bomb on John Cena. Over on SmackDown, Johnny Nitro defeated JBL in a ladder match to gain the United States Championship, and Rey Mysterio would successfully defend his Cruiserweight Championship against Kid Cash. However, Rey Mysterio would be injured for 6 weeks and be sidelined and out of action. This was a decision that ChatGPT had to make. Are they going to vacate the championship? The need for an active champion dictates that ChatGPT vacates the Cruiserweight Championship, and Super Crazy would go on to win that vacant Cruiserweight Championship. Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit win the WWE Tag Team Championships over Kane and The Big Show. But the love, hugs, and smiles would not last long as Randy Orton attacked Chris Benoit in a bar that same evening, challenging him to a match at the Great American Bash. The Great American Bash featured Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle pulling double duty, first defending their tag team championships against Kane and Big Show, successfully retaining the straps. JBL and Mick Foley would challenge Johnny Nitro in a triple threat for the United States Championship. Johnny Nitro successfully defends the United States Championship after pinning Mick Foley. Chris Benoit's got his second match coming up against the legend killer Randy Orton. Chris Benoit locks in the crippler crossface and forces Randy Orton to submit. Big grudge match coming up in this next one. Bobby Lashley, Umaga. Last man standing. Bobby Lashley able to hit a multitude of spears and of course a Dominator to leave Umaga down for the 10 count. Main event, Kurt Angle in his second match going up against Edge, challenging for the World Heavyweight Championship. Edge hitting Kurt Angle with a spear. Unfortunately, it's not enough for him, so he has to come back and hit him with an execution before pinning Kurt Angle and successfully retaining the World Heavyweight Championship. Triple H and Shawn Michaels lost the World Tag Team Championships after Triple H tapped out to Nature Boy's figure 4 leg lock. Mark Henry would also become the Intercontinental Champion after defeating Rob Van Dam and Carlito in a triple threat match. Furious with his partner, Triple H attacks Shawn Michaels backstage, making him pay for not having his back and their loss of the tag team titles. And the hot potato that is the Women's Championship would once again bounce from Lita to Mickie James on a weekly episode of Raw. As far as on the SmackDown end, ChatGPT had a decision to make with one of their up-and-coming contenders. However, they were rather hesitant to truly make that decision, so we had to guide him a little bit, but we ended up getting there. The Brothers of Destruction, Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit, and Mick Foley and JBL. The Brothers of Destruction walk out of SummerSlam as tag team champions. John Cena outlasts 5 other superstars in an over-the-top rope battle royal to become the new Intercontinental Champion. Randy Orton's been busy so far this year. He's got a United States Championship matchup against Johnny Nitro, and in honor of the return of the Viper, just last weekend at Survivor Series War Games, Randy Orton hits an RKO and wins the United States Championship over Johnny Nitro. WWE Championship match, Batista, the #1 contender, challenging the champion Booker T in a first blood match. It could go either way, but Batista is the one to bust Booker T open and become the new WWE Champion. Bobby Lashley looking to be the one to dethrone Edge from the World Heavyweight Championship, and Lashley is able to do just that and become the new champion. And in the main event, no championships involved at all, just bitter feelings between Shawn Michaels and Triple H. Hell in a Cell, and the crowd is absolutely sick, but Triple H picks up the victory over the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels in the Hell in a Cell match. Now, since we do have SummerSlam in the rearview mirror, it's a good time to check our progress, our fan support. SmackDown at 4.4 million. It's kind of been all over the place with the booking, but we gotta have a chat with ChatGPT. We had a good talk with ChatGPT, and I think they're gonna improve things going forward. In the spirit of shaking things up, we're going to add one legendary superstar to each roster now that we've got SummerSlam in the rearview mirror. And to no surprise, the Great One has been selected. You can't go wrong with quite the list that we've got in this game. The Rock goes to SmackDown, and Raw's gonna pick up Eddie Guerrero, Latino Heat. Mr. Kennedy has broke his leg, he is no Carlito, he's not going to continue to compete, so the tag team championships are going to be vacated. And on Eddie Guerrero's first night here on Raw, the Nature Boy, no longer tag team champion, takes an interest into Eddie Guerrero, convinces him to compete for the tag team titles, which they are unsuccessful. Ric Flair very unhappy, but Chris Masters and Carlito become the new tag team champions. The night of Unforgiven. Ric Flair, I don't know what that is. In an attempt to take Eddie Guerrero out, Ric Flair ends up being the one taken out. Triple threat, Lita, Trish Stratus, and Mickie James for the Women's Championship. Lita once again becoming Women's Champion. Triple H, Batista, WWE Championship. The Animal Batista still the champion. Eddie Guerrero goes on to win the Elimination Chamber this evening and punches his ticket into the World Championship match at the next pay-per-view. Rey Mysterio would return and reclaim the Cruiserweight Championship after a victory over Super Crazy, and The Rock would make his first appearance on SmackDown. Once again, it was Cruiserweight action to open up the show. Rey Mysterio successfully defending his newly won Cruiserweight Championship against Chavo Guerrero once again. The United States Championship was up for grabs in a triple threat between the Big Show, Johnny Nitro, and champion Randy Orton. Big Show dominated the match, and Randy Orton could not snake his way into a victory, crowning a new United States champion. In tag team action, we saw the Brothers of Destruction face what could be their most intimidating foes yet, the team of Matt Hardy and Daivari. It was quite the championship scare, but the Brothers of Destruction were able to defend their championship successfully. It was the first match since the return of the Great One, The Rock, taking on JBL in this pay-per-view matchup. The Rock wasted no time electrifying the crowd and showing the WWE Universe what they've been missing, as The Rock is able to win his first match back on the roster. Big Belt Bobby defending his World Heavyweight Championship for the first time against three very viable competitors, Chris Benoit, Kurt Angle, and Edge. However, it was the World Heavyweight Champion who was able to walk out victorious. Unhappy with his own shortcomings as well as Eddie Guerrero's status as #1 contender, Triple H attacked Latino Heat backstage in an attempt to eliminate any possible contenders other than he. After that didn't work, Triple H was able to pick up a pinfall victory over the WWE Champion in a tag team match alongside Ric Flair, inserting him into the title picture heading into Taboo Tuesday. Tag Team Championship match, Carlito and Chris Masters the champions, defending up against Shelton Benjamin and the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels. HBK and Benjamin had this match in the bag, but Carlito and Masters had to take the coward's way out and disqualify themselves intentionally to hang on to the championships. Mickie James and Lita would square off for what would be the last time regardless of the victor. Lita would be able to walk out of this one successfully defending her title, no longer having to worry about dealing with Mickie James. Rob Van Dam and John Cena capped off an intense rivalry revolving around the Intercontinental Championship, going one-on-one, no special stipulations, and John Cena is able to outlast his opponent and able to hang on just longer than RVD himself to retain the Intercontinental title. Triple H has once again got a shot at the WWE Championship, but he's got to get through Eddie Guerrero and the Animal Batista to take home the gold. A new WWE Champion is crowned, but it's not Triple H. It is Latino Heat, Eddie Guerrero, reigning victorious over the two to end out the evening. Going straight into Survivor Series, the Randy Orton-Kurt Angle rivalry was such a thriller ChatGPT had to book it twice. this time ending in a steel cage match, but with the same result, Kurt Angle standing tall over Randy Orton. The team of Carlito and Chris Masters were once again tasked to defend their tag team titles against Ric Flair and Ken Kennedy. And now that that broken leg is all healed up, the tag team championship reign of Kennedy and Flair can resume. For the World Heavyweight Championship, we've got The Rock taking on Bobby Lashley in a last man standing match, in which the Great One unleashing an electrifying moveset and becoming the World Heavyweight Champion, conquering Big Belt Bobby. Eddie Guerrero is set to defend his WWE Championship for the first time against the former champion, the Animal, Batista. A high-intensity match, and Latino Heat will continue his reign into the winter. We're going to face up one superstar from each brand in a Hell in a Cell match. Raw's going to pick Triple H, and ChatGPT, of course, is going to select The Undertaker. And it didn't disappoint, and we saw The Undertaker deliver the Tombstone Piledriver onto the Game, who is not having himself a good year so far. The United States Champion Big Show would successfully defend his title in a gauntlet match according to ChatGPT up against Umaga, Mick Foley, and JBL. Rey Mysterio and Johnny Nitro would cap off a rivalry, which also saw Johnny Nitro's hand raised in victory at the end. The Brothers of Destruction faced another formidable tag team, this time Randy Orton and Chris Benoit, and it doesn't seem to matter who the team is, the Brothers of Destruction are gonna get it done and successfully defend their tag team titles. Main event, Kurt Angle, The Rock, buried alive match, so we get no visuals. But we also get a new World Heavyweight Champion in Kurt Angle. The opening match of New Year's Revolution consists of Batista and Rob Van Dam, two former champions that failed to regain their titles. After a grueling steel cage match, the Animal Batista emerges victorious, hoping to get back on track. Trish Stratus gets her share of the Women's Championship in this GM mode after defeating Lita in an ultimate submission match. John Cena was once again up against the odds when defending his Intercontinental Championship, as he defended against Ken Kennedy and Shelton Benjamin, once again successfully retaining his title. In a match that I would pay most of my life savings to see, we've got Shawn Michaels taking on Eddie Guerrero for the WWE Championship. In what would have been an absolutely awesome match, Eddie Guerrero picks up the victory and defends the championship successfully. The Royal Rumble opened up with a steel cage match between the Deadman and JBL. Shawn Michaels and Triple H finally laid their issues to rest in a last man standing match that saw Shawn Michaels with his hand raised in victory. Bobby Lashley worked his way back into the title picture and is looking to regain that big gold belt. Unfortunately, Kurt Angle had other plans and would go on to successfully defend his world championship. John Cena defeated Eddie Guerrero to become not only the Intercontinental Champion, but also the WWE Champion on the road to WrestleMania. But the road to WrestleMania cannot begin until a victor of the Royal Rumble is crowned, starting with Kane and Matt Hardy as entrants number 1 and 2, going all the way down to the sole survivor, Chris Benoit, the winner of the Royal Rumble, punching his ticket into the main event of WrestleMania and a World Championship opportunity. Coming back to the fan support, we see Raw. We're able to separate the gap by a wide margin, but SmackDown stepped their game up. ChatGPT really reacted after we had that conversation with them a few months back, and it's getting real close. Starting off with Big Show defending his United States Championship against Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley would go on to spear Big Show through a table here in this no DQ match, and Bobby Lashley would walk away as the new United States Champion. Huge match going back to the Attitude Era here, as we have The Rock taking on Mick Foley in a no DQ match. And The Rock has not held any punches outside of that buried alive match. The Rock is undefeated here in this GM mode. Picks up the victory up against Mick Foley. And in the main event of the evening, the World Heavyweight Champion Kurt Angle and the Royal Rumble winner Chris Benoit regained the Tag Team Championships, closing out the night with WrestleMania opponents locked arms as Tag Team Champions. Since we do have such a limited WrestleMania card, we've got Trish Stratus and Lita squaring off for the last time to determine who is the true undisputed women's champion, and Trish Stratus victorious. Ever since the Royal Rumble, Eddie Guerrero has proved himself as a fighting Intercontinental Champion. He's knocked down anybody that has came up in front of him. During a match with Booker T, right before Eddie Guerrero was about to secure his victory, John Cena came out, interrupted and interfered in his match, allowing Booker T to capitalize and become the new Intercontinental Champion, setting the stage for Eddie Guerrero and John Cena at WrestleMania. On the SmackDown side of things, we had the World Heavyweight Champion Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit continuing to work together, defending their championships against the likes of the Mexicools, as well as Johnny Nitro and Joey Mercury. You think we're just gonna do a build to WrestleMania in 2006 without putting Undertaker's streak on the line? Get real. We've got Triple H coming over from Raw, coming face to face with The Undertaker, extending the challenge at WrestleMania. No answer from the dead man, so Triple H comes back to SmackDown the following week, but gets ignored. Tired of being ignored, Triple H attacks The Undertaker backstage, sending his challenge a little bit more direct. Following a victory on SmackDown, The Undertaker makes an appearance and confronts Triple H, giving him his answer. WrestleMania 22, we've got a couple tournament-style SmackDown vs. Raw matches. First one of the night, The Rock taking on Shelton Benjamin in a steel cage match. And just like many others before him, Shelton Benjamin puts up a valiant effort, but The Rock too electrifying to handle, and The Rock picks up the victory. The Undertaker, Triple H. Undefeated streak on the line. Triple H has got nothing to lose, meaning there's no man more dangerous. Triple H actually with the upper hand throughout most of this match, hitting the pedigree, putting the nail in the coffin on Undertaker's streak. Not so fast. Undertaker hitting the tombstone pile driver, getting the victory, and that streak remains alive. Eddie Guerrero, John Cena, WWE Championship. John Cena started out this year as the WWE Champion, went on quite a losing streak, had to rebuild himself back up through the Intercontinental Division, has now once again got himself in the main event of WrestleMania. But Eddie Guerrero is not going to go down as easy as the others have. The valiant spirit of Eddie Guerrero brings him to victory at WrestleMania, regaining the WWE Championship in what would have been a truly dream match at this point of their careers. And in the main event of WrestleMania, the World Heavyweight Championship, Tag Team Champions Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle going up against one another, and in an absolute banger of a match, Kurt Angle pulls out the stops to retain the championship and walk out of WrestleMania still the World Heavyweight Champion. And with that ending to WrestleMania, it is time to crown the General Manager of the Year and find out if we can beat ChatGPT in GM mode.
I give you the General Manager of the Year. Congratulations on a job well done.
I'm not gonna lie, this loss does sting a little bit, but like we said earlier, if we can get this video up to 200 likes, we will do something like this again, and maybe get our revenge on ChatGPT. Thank you everybody for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Take it easy. Later.